Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
You're listening to the Passion Muse Show. Good morning. This is Mia Saenz, and I have a special treat for you all. In studio today is my co-host, Patty Alfonso. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Mia.
This is so much fun. Patty is also a spiritual teacher, awakening coach. We're going to get into what Patty does, and also this week's topic is what is consciousness? And as we all are growing and in our spiritual grace, if that's our path we choose, we're aware of consciousness. And there's many levels of it, which we'll talk about, but this is the basic one that I found on the internet. I just wanted to share with you so that you understand what the world believes, and then people who are on a spiritual journey, they take it even farther. So it says consciousness is a quality or state of awareness, or of being aware of an external object or something within oneself. It has been defined as sentience, awareness, subjectivity, the ability to experience or feel a wakefulness, having the sense of selfhood, and the executive control system of the mind. Despite the difficulties in the definition, many philosophers believe that there is a broadly shared underlying intuition about what is consciousness. And we're here to expand. And also, I'd like to open the lines for anyone who would like to talk to Patty or I or about consciousness or the awakening process. Any questions you have, please feel free to call 800-555-5453 or 310-371-5459, and that's also an international number, 001-310-371-5459. We also have, for the first 4 call-ins, we have 4 gifts, 1 each. Yay! How much better can it get than that?
How does it get any better?
It doesn't. This is fantastic. So I know in my day-to-day life, working on my conscious awareness, or keeping it, because I've been working on it, so it's open, but keeping in that line, that form, is very important. It's what my world exists of. Mm-hmm. Would you like to share briefly what it is so that the listeners know what you do? You've been on before, but...
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Patty, and I'm an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator. And I'd like to add to what you read earlier. So Access describes consciousness as including everything without judgment. So everything.
Love that. That's absolutely perfect.
Includes everything, people. Everything. The awesome stuff, the crappy stuff, the super fun stuff, like everything without judgment. And so, wow, yeah, that's just really, really, really expansive for me. And as I continue on my journey of expanding and being with consciousness, then my awareness grows. My awareness of everything around me, my awareness of everything, it just keeps expanding and expanding. And as my awareness expands, then I have to kind of check in with my level of allowance, because if consciousness includes everything, then I may not particularly like something that's coming up. Then I have to ask my allowance to increase, my level of like, okay, this is what is, and this is what's happening, and how can I be with this without judging it, so that I can continue to expand my awareness and my allowance.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And expanding our awareness. I like how you said even the crappy stuff comes up. And that's usually what comes up when we expand our awareness, because we have to eliminate the crappy stuff.
And how does it get better than that?
It doesn't, because if we're not afraid and we can face it and work through it smoothly, then we can jump further, faster. it's not a race of who can beat whom, but it's about ourselves and about how can I come to this place of growing and continually growing and being at a state of, we talked about in the car driving over here, gratitude. I like to throw in unconditional love, even bliss, just to be at your top element of who you are and connected to the divine energy flow.
Yeah. So, like, for me, the cool thing about gratitude is that when we are in a state of gratitude for everything that shows up in life, then your allowance, for me, it just automatically expands.
It does.
And I wanted to add to what you were saying, like, as an infinite being, which is what we are, beyond, you know, this physical reality that we've incarnated in, as an infinite being, we have the ability to perceive, know, and be everything that we choose. And so, I mean, that's just also a really expansive point of view for me. Like, when I really step into, okay, I'm an infinite being. As an infinite being, would I really be afraid? As an infinite being with the ability to perceive, know, and be anything and everything, is there fear in that? Or is fear a distraction created by this reality to keep us from being everything that we truly be? So are you afraid, or are you really excited about the possibilities that are showing up? And can you be in gratitude for everything that is showing up and use it all to your advantage? And I know, like, when I say that, there's an energy that comes up like, oh, like I'm going to take advantage of something. That's not what I mean. When something comes up, can you use it to your advantage to grow and expand your awareness and your consciousness? Like, I use everything to my advantage to grow and be more and show up more in this world. That's how I mean it.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful, because on other levels of coming into, and a lot of people talk about the awakening process, which is expansion of consciousness. So on the levels coming into it, if you do face your fears and replace them with gratitude and find that you're not going to keel over and leave this planet, it gets easier and easier each time. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Well, fear, false evidence appearing real. You're an infinite being. Are you really afraid? Are you excited? It's really like when that there is a choice in that. When that sensation comes up in your body, I'm afraid. It's like, wait a minute. Like, every time I go to do something new, you know, when I first started doing radio shows, I thought I was afraid, but really what I was excited was excited about the possibilities that was going to create. So then when you buy into the fear, then you're stopping yourself from truly being what you can be in this world. And the invitation for everyone to be, right, beyond doing and having and all of that, so that we can change everything and have more consciousness and have more awareness and go beyond what this reality has presented for us. That's what I'm all about.
So let's get through the red light to the green light.
Yes.
And keep going.
The red light, it lasts for like a minute. Yeah. It's not real. It'll turn green real fast.
Right.
You know?
And if we keep that in our awareness, then it helps remove the fear in each step going forward. You were talking about when you first started doing radio. Life is all about creation, which is the expansion of our consciousness. And so I remember the very first show I ever did, my sound guy said, Mia, you've done this 1,000 times. Yeah. Even though I hadn't. But, you know, we can train ourselves to be able to move forward and step out of fear. And when he said that, I said, you're absolutely right. And I just shook it all off, and I was okay.
Well, as an infinite being, having had infinite lifetimes, you really have done everything.
Yes.
At least once or twice, I'm going to venture to say. Everything, you know? So I think that's part of, like, to shift a little bit when judgment comes up. You know, if consciousness includes everything without judgment, so when judgment does come up, that's usually a place where you have been or done that, or resisted or reacted to it, or aligned and agreed with it. Excuse me. So where have I been at? and everything that is, I destroy and uncreate it, right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, and continue to expand and expand your allowance, not only for other things that are happening, but for whatever's happening within you.
Right.
So.
And that expansion of creation there that she was just talking about is when you get to that point and you get through it. Mm-hmm. And you realize, I'm still here. Mm-hmm. It's easier. I can do it faster next time.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We can move so fast in this reality if we allow ourselves to do that.
Right. and I love how you said that for those of us who believe in incarnation, that and souls that exist, people say, well, Mia, where do you think we go after we're gone from here? And I know that we're infinite beings and that our soul still maintains, our body is not, but our soul still exists. And I tell people, if you want to believe in heaven, that's perfect, because that's where, think of all the souls there, and then you come and go. Mm-hmm. So there's really, you can look at everything in a light that you can understand, that can progress you forward instead of halting your progress to work through that fear. And anyone who wants to call in about questions about fear or gratitude, how to be more grateful,
or whatever's coming up for you in this moment, we're totally in allowance of whatever that is.
Right, exactly. I have a question for, and I love to throw things out to the people in the studio here. I have a question for Jay, if he's up for it. Jay, when you were in college, so when you were in your 20s, were you even aware of this topic of consciousness? It just, from a man's point of view, a dude, I love this to get this information.
Looking back, I'd like to think I was maybe on the peripheral of it. I mean, I was a little more open to it. And college for me was an interesting experience. The radio station, the people that were around there. There were some people there that were into this type of thought. There was all types of thoughts, all variations, college and artistic stuff thrown together. So I got to learn a lot about variety of people. But some of this was coming up on the peripheral, and I was kind of open to a lot of that anyway. And one of the courses I did take in my psychology class, one of the courses in there, there was a book about quantum physics. Mm-hmm. And we didn't quite get, I was on a 12-week system, not the 18 semesters, like a quarter. So it was a little more accelerated, and I was really there for radio. Anyway.
To be truthful.
But psychology was something I was interested in, but the teacher, we didn't quite get to it much, but he had this textbook, and it was about quantum physics, and he was like, whatever you guys do, even if we don't get to it, keep that book, don't resell it, just keep it and think about it for the future. And I was like, wow, this guy is really pushing us. I'm going to, kind of keep it. So I sort of had that in the back of my mind, and that's, interestingly, I did get that experience. We didn't quite go into depth, and it was very new, but it was happening, and it was brand new. So it was, I think there's more information out there people can access with the Internet. Right. Obviously, we didn't have that. We had libraries back then.
We had to do things old school.
And encyclopedias.
Yeah. What's really cool about what Jay was just talking about, the teacher being so excited about quantum physics, is that spirituality is truly also a science. And people don't often understand that there's a science to everything in our universe, which means even religions are a type of a science. And it's funny when I hear professors or other doctors who talk about, well, I can only understand things scientifically because, this is what I've been studying and this doesn't make sense. Well, when you look at it in this, and then when you bring up, quantum physics and aspects that are related with spirituality and the universe and all that, then they start to see it. So if we can just see it from the beginning, or at least have that possibility, like Jay's professor said, whatever you do, keep this book and just read it. And people who are listening are going to say, what does quantum physics actually have to do with spirituality? Wow. that tickles me, because it truly has a lot. It's a momentum. It's a process. And if you do want to understand it more on your own, get your own quantum physics book, or spirituality and quantum physics, because they are out there and they're very, very cool. So
yeah, man, what's coming up for me around that, like, science, oh boy, I'm so different. Anyway, science, to me, there's a limitation in there. And quantum physics is finally catching up to us as the infinite beings, and the energy that we have and what it is that we are capable of. Like, what's beyond science? And even what you were saying about the professor, well, if I don't have science to understand it, it's like such a limitation. You're an infinite being.
Yeah.
You can perceive, know, and be everything. Perceive it.
The science part I'm also talking about is, like, everything's mathematical in our universe, including us. I mean, everything is mathematical that we come in contact with. Even the unreality of it, there's mathematics in that. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm talking about, the scientific aspect of.
Yeah, I know we talked about this a little bit in the car, but I really want to encourage...
This is very important, everybody.
I really want to encourage people to go see Lucy. And I watched this movie from the point of view of me and the capacities and the abilities and the talents that I have. And I was like, wow, I can do that. I can do that. Wow, that's possible. Okay, I want to do that. I'll have some of that, please. And she talks about math in the movie, and in this very moment, it's escaping me. But wow, like, Access is all about what's beyond this reality. What is beyond what this reality has created? What's beyond the mathematics? What's beyond the science? And beyond all of that, what else can we create? What else is possible? And the expansiveness of that, like, when I tune into the energy of mathematics and 1 + 1 = 2 and all of that, it's very logical, it's very linear, it's a little bit heavy for me right now. But when I tune into, like, wow, what's beyond that, then it opens up, the energy opens up, and it expands. And what's beyond all of that? What else is possible?
When you said that, what's beyond it, I heard music, which was very weird because where did that come from? Even though there's math in music, there's math in music, there's math in art and color, everything. It's crazy. What I thought that Patty was going to say, and yes, everybody go see Lucy. She's promoting it. And yes, I'm going to go see it too. I was interested before, when in the previews it looks really, really awesome. But Patty and I were talking about doing this show together, and we were talking about how everyone's thought process is different about spirituality, about consciousness. And I just want to say, take what feels right for you and keep growing in your way. If it's different than someone else, great. We're not all meant to be robots or the same. And
consciousness includes everything without judgment. What's light for you is true for you, and if it's heavy, then it's not true for you. And what may be light for me may be heavy for Mia. And how does it get better than that? It includes everything without judgment.
Yeah, and that means no judgment to yourself.
Totally. Oh my gosh, self-judgment is like one of the biggest demons in this reality that has ever been created. Like, can we let go of that now, please? Yeah. And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds.
And for those who we're all at different levels of our spiritual or conscious awakening awareness abilities. So if you're just starting out to and listening to the show, gosh, what is consciousness? So what we're talking about is, don't bash yourself for not understanding. Don't bash yourself for having slight judgment. Just get rid of it from yourself, for other people. It's a continual process of gratitude. I was going to say love, but we had this huge discussion in the car about gratitude and love. And for me, I love gratitude. It's the number one thing that spurs me, and I believe that it's the true connection to the divine and to our growth. But I also love to put in unconditional love there, because maybe, and I'll confess just now that I see it this way, maybe it's what I'm driven to not just receive, which I'm receiving now from my husband, but what I want to give. That was just so clear just now. How beautiful. And I thought I was giving unconditional love. So that's probably why I keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because it's in my thought process.
There you go.
So, Patty, we're going to go for a commercial break.
Awesome.
And we'll be right back.
Sweet.
Talk to you soon.
all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. Earthchannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to earthchannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
For over 75 years, Advance Auto Parts have provided top-quality car parts for the do-it-yourselfer. Whether you're a beginner wanting to change your own oil or a veteran rebuilding a classic car, Advance Auto Parts has the car and truck part or accessory you need. And they have free advice and resources and instructional videos to help you fix your car. Whether it's from oil and air filters to radar and laser detection, you can find the right part to get the job done right. Visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Advanced Auto Parts today.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
I'm Mary Hart, and this is AWRT Empowering America. Born in Belgium, Etta was educated at private schools. Her mother, a Dutch baroness, divorced her British banker father when Etta was 6. After spending a brief period with her father in England, Etta returned to Holland to live with her mother. It soon became apparent that rapidly sprouting Etta was too tall to be a professional dancer, so she started modeling, and in 1951 was cast in a small role in a British film. By 1953, Etta had made her American film debut and had become a star with 1 Academy Award already on her shelf. In 1988, she became a special ambassador to the United Nations Children's Fund. In 1992, Etta, Audrey Hepburn, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her charitable works for UNICEF.
Empowering America is brought to you by the Foundation of American Women in Radio and Television and is made possible through the generous support of AT&T, the world's networking company.
Welcome back to the Passion Muse with Mia Saenz. I am your co-host today, Patty Alfonso. And before we begin, I just want to invite you to call in if you have any questions or comments, or if you just want to, chat with us a little bit. You can reach us at 1-800-555-5453 or 310-371-5459, and that is an international number. So 001-310-371-5459. So before we went on break, Mia was bringing up the topic of love and gratitude, and we just want to take a minute and sort of expand on that. And I want to ask the listeners a question. So what does love mean to you? And Mia and I had been discussing, when you ask 10, 15 people, what is love to you, they will likely all give you different answers. And so for me, that's how come love can get a little bit confusing, and the energy of love is just kind of meh. So when I start asking, what else is possible and what's beyond that, and this is also something that Access Consciousness talks a lot about, is the energy of gratitude, which to me is way lighter and way more expansive. I can have gratitude for the stranger on the street, or whatever experiences come into my life, or, whatever. And then, but when I think about love, for me in my life, when I was growing up, love was really, really conditional. Mm-hmm. If you love me, you'll do this for me. Right. Or if if you love me, you'll change this, mm-hmm. because, you love me and I love you. So there is sometimes some conditions when it comes to love. Mm-hmm. But to have gratitude, just tune into the energy of that. Right. Yeah. So
it's an amazing, gratitude is, and I want to get back to love first, because gratitude is the alchemy of love. So it's the gold that we turn love into, it's beautiful. And it's how I bring myself up and out of any source of downturn, whether I wake up feeling grumpy, crappy, whatever, I look for gratitude. And it's a big part of my life. But I do want to talk about love first, because as you were saying, I started thinking back to how I used to think, how I used to believe. And I remember I turned into a servant, not like I call myself, can I serve you? How can I serve you? And that's through wanting to serve the divine and mankind. That's not what I'm talking about, because that's a beautiful aspect. I'm talking about like to my mother. I used to, on the weekends and when she would go out, I would either polish the woodwork. We had paneled walls, or polish the silver or copper, and we had a huge collection, so that when she'd come home, I would be praised and make her happy. So my love concept was from a scared little child of, I just want to be loved and I want to make her happy.
And what do I have to do to get that love?
Right. Not to just be Mia,
yeah,
and not to just be an expressive, happy, passionate little child that I would imagine we want all our children to be. But what can Mia do? And this is one reason. It's funny. I don't like to clean my house. You know why? Because I was a maid growing up, and my mom put me out in high school as people's maids in order to...
Yeah? Are you Cinderella?
I am,
Oh, my
actually.
gosh.
I am.
How does it get better than that?
Well, it's how I made it through my my last year of high school. Was my dad had died, and I had gone to boarding school, and I was working in the kitchen. I wanted to be with my mom, so I forced my way home my senior year, and I spent one night in my bed, and the next night I went to be our attorney's maid so that I could have room and board and go to school in a different school district. And then after that, it was, I got another job, and I moved out and started doing my own thing. But the thing is that we do things to make others happy.
Yeah.
And if we're not happy ourselves, and this is why, folks, that I am the self-love teacher, because I've learned from the ground up that, I loved everybody but myself. And when you could walk on me, I would have laid down for people to walk on me if they asked me.
That's all the ways in which we then fold, staple, how can I change me so that you'll love me?
Right.
And it's the way this reality has set up relationships, the way this reality has set up, the sort of exchange of energy, and what is beyond that. And for me, that's gratitude. When I wake up in the morning and I say, the access mantra like 10,000 times, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. That automatically puts me in the space of gratitude for anything that comes up.
Right.
And when I do sort of look back on my life, and honestly, I don't always like to look back. I like to be like, okay, what can I create now? What can I create now and for the future? But for those listeners who require this, which obviously somebody does because I'm going to say it. So when I look back on my life, and I also look at all of the places where I bended, folded, stapled, mutilated myself to please someone else, to just from that space of total no self-love, no self-gratitude, everything was just lack, it's really interesting, and it's really interesting to function from this space of gratitude for everything, and to function from this space of total consciousness and awareness and the expansiveness of all of that. And what would it take for everyone who's listening to have that? Because it's possible for everyone. No matter where you came from, it's all choice. You can be in this moment and choose something different for yourself and say, you know what? I'm going to choose consciousness, and I'm going to choose expansiveness, and I'm going to choose gratitude, and be in the question of that. What does that look like?
Growing up in a metaphysical family, even though it was abusive, which is really, it's like
interesting.
Total polarity. We're talking about polarity too in the car right here, and it was kind of crazy. But I learned about gratitude, and I learned that that's the place that made me happiest. And why is that? And this is why what I want people who are just coming into gratitude and understanding this is, it fills our soul, it fills our spirit, it fills our heart, it fills our consciousness with such when we are grateful for something, everything, it opens a secret door to manifesting everything you want in the universe. Mm-hmm. And it just, everything pours in. And when we keep that door open instead of open, close, open, close, open, close, we are magical beings. Mm-hmm. We really are. We are infinite beings that are so magical that it's incredible.
Wow. So, yes, I love that. And what's coming up is like, because there's an energy out in the universe right now of lack around money. Mm-hmm. And so what if you took some time to be grateful for the money that you have? Would that be an invitation for more money to come in?
Well, yeah, that's what manifesting people do. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And that's just kind of what came up. Whoever's out there that needs that information,
exactly.
You know, like...
the universe.
Yeah.
Planet Earth.
Yeah. Gratitude. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful I'm kind with the money that I have. I'm kind with the finances that I have in the moment. And that will open the energy for more to show up. Mm-hmm. And if we think about the universe like the trees receiving from the sun, mm-hmm. You know, they just receive.
Right.
And there's no, like, stuckness there. Mm-hmm. There's no, like, oh, what do I have to do to the sun to get this ray of light?
It's just a natural process. Yeah.
And that's the natural state of the universe, really. It's a naturally gifting place. And if we can open up to receive those gifts and to be grateful for the gifts that show up, then what else can you create?
Right. I talk about manifesting as our incredible birthright that we were born with. Mm-hmm. It's from the divine. Everything is there. It's like Christmas morning. We were in the car, and I was sharing with you how I share with people. It's like Christmas morning. You open a closet, and you're like, what am I going to see that's already there? Mm-hmm. What am I going to claim? It's already mine.
Yes.
So that's
claim
part
it.
Of, yeah. So
money come, money come, money come,
yes.
money come. I claim it.
That's right.
I ask for it, and I will receive it.
Green light, no red lights.
Yes.
We're going to be going out for a commercial break, but we'll be right back.
Okay, so you have a couple of days off, and you're planning to get away from stress. You may be planning to go across the world or even taking a staycation around town. Well, Hotels.com can get you a room in over 158,000 hotels, 60 countries for 50% off. That's reducing stress already. Plus, collect 10 nights, and you'll get 1 night free. And there's no cancellation charges, no change fees. For the best deals, even last-minute deals, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Hotels.com.
Let's face it, we're all looking for great products at a great price because it's just a good way to shop and get the most value from your money. Here at HealthyLife.net Radio, we do that too, and we do it for you. You won't find advertisers or affiliates that are not in line with our vision of bringing people a positive, happy, and healthy life. Although many advertisers come to us, few are chosen. Our advertisers are hand-picked and specially selected to support our vision and give you great products at a fair price. So the next time you're looking to buy a product or service, check out HealthyLife.net's advertiser page. Click through to our advertiser partner sites. You'll be glad you did, and so will we, because you'll help support HealthyLife.net, and we can keep our positive programs coming to you 24/7. That's HealthyLife.net's advertiser page. Do us a favor. Visit soon and often. It's a win-win-win situation for you, our advertisers, and HealthyLife.net. Just do it. HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
You see a product you like on your favorite TV show, and you're going to write the number down. But if you're like me, you run around trying to find a pen or a piece of paper, which somehow magically disappears every time you need them. Then you get back to the TV, and you've got it. They're on to something else. Now there's a solution. Seen on TV products have combined all the best TV offers online in one place. It's one-stop shopping. Just visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Seen on TV products. And then, who cares if that pesky pen or paper does a disappearing act?
If you're in Southern California, you might want to consider HealthyLife.net Radio for advertising. We have 18 hosts that have shows with loyal listeners just in Southern California. That means you get local advertising and the world for the same affordable price. With packages for every budget, you can't afford not to let that economic sun shine in for your business. Call now, 1-800-555-5453. That's 1-800-555-5453.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
You're listening to the Passion Muse Show. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and we have Patty Alfonso as my co-host this week.
Woo woo! How does it get better than that?
Exactly. We're having fun in the house. So we have a listener, but before we take this next caller, please feel free to call 1-800-555-5453. That's 1-800-555-5453. For locals or international or anyone else who wants to just call this number, it's 310-371-5459. And if you're international, just put a 001 in front, and we'd love to talk to you. So before we bring on Mandy from Louisville, Kentucky, she gets Patty's gift. And what is that, Patty? Well, let's bring her on.
Okay.
So, hello, Mandy.
Hi.
From Louisville. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for accepting my call. How are you?
Wonderful. You know, it's funny because there have been more calls during this show than I've ever heard before, but they hang up. So we're glad that you stop playing Ding Dong Ditch with us, okay? You're just teasing us. So I want Patty to share with you what she has for you, and then we want to talk to you and hear what you would either like to ask us or share or whatever's on your heart.
How exciting. Okay.
Awesome. Hi, Mandy. Thanks for calling in. I want to share with you, actually, I have a free video series. There's a new class that I am creating, that I have created, that has been created through me.
I took it. It's awesome.
Awesome. And so I have a video series, and it's called, the web address is poledancingforconsciousness.com. And
Pole dancing for consciousness.
Yes. And everything that brings up for everyone else who's listening, who just joined and created. Pole dancing as a way of really being in communion with your body. And I share with you some of my favorite Access Consciousness tips to start changing and creating the life that you know is possible. So please take advantage of that. Poledancingforconsciousness.com.
Is having a pole installed, is that a requirement?
No. What I share with you in the video series is for you, and I teach you some things that you can do in your house that you don't need a pole for. And I am traveling around the States right now doing the class, so hopefully I'll see you in person somewhere. And in that class, you will have a pole, and we will have tons of fun. How does it get better than that?
You can substitute, anybody who's listening, you can substitute a chair for your pole if you like.
Yeah. Or the wall.
Because I love to use a chair to dance to with. Or the wall.
Can you repeat that for me?
Poledancingforconsciousness.com.
.com. Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what's up, girlfriend? How can we help you or facilitate?
That's exciting. I was calling in about the topic that you guys were discussing, gratitude and manifestation. And I was just kind of thinking about how I came into gratitude and how maybe for the listeners out there who are just getting into gratitude now, who are just starting into gratitude, sometimes they have to hit a pretty scary place before the subject or the idea is introduced to them. And I was thinking about the way it was introduced to me, and it came to me in the form of a list of 10 things, and it was a private email group. And I was going through some pretty traumatic things at the time, and all I could think about was gloom and doom, just all of the things that, negative thoughts that and they just keep producing negative thoughts. And a friend of mine sent me this list, and there was a couple of people attached to it. And I didn't know these people except for the one girl. And there was just a long list of things on there. And I thought, oh, I can do this. So I left it open and came back to it and, put out a couple of things. And it came to me again the next day, and I thought, wow, that was really tough putting out a list of 10 things that I was happy for yesterday. I thought I only had to do this one time. So I I continued on with this list, and before I knew it, it had changed my life. It had caused me to start looking for things throughout my day, just looking for things.
Like, to be grateful for.
I was at the grocery store, and I was like, wow, I'm really grateful they had this on the shelf, and look, it's on sale, you know, and I had that on my list. And then I had, you know, the weather was cooperative for me today to get to work. That was on my list. You know, traffic was light. That was on my list. And so before I knew it, everything that I was seeing throughout my day was starting to, you know, make the list. But I also realized that I was also coming into being able to recognize my vibrations with other people, and how scary that was to realize possibly I'm growing apart from this person, or this is not where I need to be or want to be. And so it opened up doors for me to really identify with other areas of my life. It's just coming from this gratitude list, this daily list. And I was just kind of lamenting on how much, I want to say almost fear, because it was unknown, you know, and all of this new energy and new magic, vibrational, you know, it felt magical, was coming to me and, you know, giving me answers for things that I had had questions for years. And I wondered if you'd had any experiences like that with coming into a gratuitous style of living, you know, a happy, obviously harmonious way of being.
Well, I love what you're saying, and what was coming up, several things came up. Number one, acknowledging the magic, and you totally commented on that. Like, the more that I paid attention to the things that I could be grateful for, the more those things showed up. So acknowledging the magic that you are creating and the magic that you are is amazing, and it creates more of it. It opens the space for more of that to show up. And the next thing that sort of came into my awareness when you were talking was the level of allowance as well. So as an infinite being, we have the ability to perceive, know, and be everything. And so we are so way more psychic than we think we are. And so 98% of like the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that come up aren't even yours. So a really awesome tool for that is asking yourself, is this mine? Who does this belong to? And when the energy shifts, you're like, oh, I'm totally picking this up from someone else. So returning it to sender has been an amazing tool for me. And as you continue expanding and acknowledging your own magic, then you talked a little bit about like, wow, am I growing and I'm not anymore in alignment with this person and our energies don't match? This is where you have to ask yourself, did my awareness exceed my level of allowance? And asking your level of allowance to catch up to your awareness or go beyond your awareness, because consciousness includes everything without judgment. And being with someone, like lowering your barriers and just being an allowance of what is. Yeah. So I hope that those tools kind of add a little bit more to your life.
That's awesome. We need to go to commercial break. And Mandy, if you want to stay online, we'll wrap up with you when we come back. We'll be right back.
I love food, and I love to eat. The cooking and cleaning part, not so much. And then I found a link to the chef's catalog on the healthylife.net advertiser page, and I was happy to find all sorts of amazing recipes and tips on cooking, in addition to great chef-quality kitchen equipment and savings as well. Now I look forward to my time in the kitchen thanks to chef's catalog on the healthylife.net advertiser page.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Whether you're taking a short trip or traveling across the world, Magellans.com is the world's most trusted source for travel, and they guarantee 100% satisfaction. They have everything you need to make travel just a bit more pleasurable. Who doesn't like that? They have travel alarms, clothing, the best luggage, wallets, everything you need except the ticket. Visit the advertiser page on HealthyLife.net and click on Magellans now. You will not only see their travel products, but get a free catalog and read articles with tips on how to make your travel easier. Visit the advertiser page and click on Magellans now.
Vistaprint. I'm sure you've heard the name. Over 17 million small businesses and consumers have used Vistaprint for printed products ranging from business cards and brochures to invitations and thank you cards. Why? Because Vistaprint has the lowest price guarantee, and you can design your products with templates or upload your design. And they have free products. 3-day rush service and satisfaction is always guaranteed. Try Vistaprint. Just go to the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on the Vistaprint logo.
You choose programs you want, never anything you don't. The way radio should be. HealthyLife.net.
You're listening to the Passion Muse Show. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and with me this week is Patty Alfonso, my co-host for this week.
Hey.
Thought we'd spice it up here and bring her on. So, Mandy, you still there?
I am here.
Great. As you and Patty were talking, I wanted to also bring up, because you said people who are just getting into gratitude. And the thing about, as you experience your gratitude and how much joy and amazement and magical it is and how it affects your life, to continually to trust in that. It's like you see these pictures all over, everywhere for self-empowerment. Leap of faith, leap of faith, leap of faith. It's almost, well, it's more than a leap of faith because you've experienced it. So if ever you're in that place of blockage with gratitude, anybody, understand and go back to what it was like and the feeling in the process, how you worked through that before. Trust that the process works. Trust that gratitude is there. And it's a beautiful doorway to enlightenment. It's a beautiful doorway to everything. Mm. So if you keep going, you know, if the newcomers who are practicing this, it's there. Mm-hmm. It's there to take you out of depression. It's there to take you out of lack. It's there to bring you into abundance. And that's abundance of your joy, your love, peace, harmony. As we were talking before, we're living on a money planet. So it's, you know, for our finances or, you know, our concept of how we acquire things. Everything's already there for us. We just have to figure out through gratitude and open up and trust the process that it's already there and it'll just come to us beautifully.
And for people, you know, who are just sort of beginning on their journey, the Access mantra is magical. If you wake up every morning and you say this 10 times, it will shift and change the energy of your entire day. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. I say that every morning, and no matter what shows up in the rest of the day, I am in total ease, joy, and glory. So that's an awesome tool that people can use as well. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And I'm saying it, I'm already smiling, you know, if you can perceive the energy of that. It's an amazing tool to help shift anything into a more, you know, ease, joy, and glory state.
Right. Also, I was thinking, it came to me, people who are working on healings. There's so many people out there that have different ailments about them that has come from depression or products or whatever is out there in this human world. If you are finding a process within your healing of this stuff, whether it's depression, whether it's, I don't know, shickles or whatever, and you know how that you're healing it through understanding your true alignment to the divine and eliminating stuff and bringing in gratitude, trust the same thing about the comment of the leap of faith and trust. Trust and go back to that process. So if something reappears and you feel it's already been healed, go back to that process and understand how you had your healing, and that get rid of the fear that it does not exist. It can't come back. Okay?
And start asking, what else is possible? What else is possible that I haven't even imagined? Thank you, Mandy. Thank you for your contribution to the show and with your question. I know that we're very grateful that you called in and didn't hang up.
You're very welcome. I'm very grateful you had time for me today. I appreciate it.
And enjoy your free gift from Patty.
Yay!
Oh, thank you. I will. I can't wait to check it out.
And I wish somebody would else call so they could get my free gift.
Yay!
Unless you want that too. We're happy to just give.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I actually wrote down earlier before I called on a pretty piece of paper with a pretty marker, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
See, we're all in alignment.
I will be hanging that on my mirror.
10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening, it's magic. Your magic. And when you use it, your magic will show up more. So.
And when we also see, thank you, Mandy, for joining us. We're going to close out the show in a few minutes. We appreciate your call. Also, when people understand that they're magical, miraculous beings, and so is everyone else, the person right next to them, that is just when truly your life becomes blown away, because you're seeing people in their true essence, in their true glory, how they actually are, not how we've allowed layers and layers of garbage through living in the human form here has built up in our human consciousness, in our mind. So if we actually just see everybody in the way that we know how to see ourselves, or the way we know, and we're being taught to truly see us the way that the divine sees us. When we see everybody in that light, it's beautiful.
We're all infinite beings, and we can all perceive, know, and be anything and everything that we choose.
And people become so magical to us when we allow that in, and we see everybody as these light beings, these special people. So what if he honked at me on the freeway or almost ran me off the road? He didn't mean to. I'm just saying that.
Or maybe he did, and your allowance is like, all right, well, that was interesting. That's an interesting point of view that he chose to do that. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
What else is possible?
It's truly amazing when we change and align our thoughts to continually practice, if that's our desire, to grow in grace, to continually practice these steps, whatever feels right to each individual. It's really, really beautiful.
What's true for you? What's light is true for you. What's heavy is not true for you. Follow the energy, and wow, what you can create is beyond this reality.
One thing that the former caller was saying that also made me think, our reality shifts so much. I know that when I first work with new people, they're at a place where obviously they need
guidance, facilitation.
Exactly. So one thing that I love to say to them, that their reality will be so different as we work, because when you expand, and people can do this right now listening in, you can expand your consciousness to know that somebody's not slamming a door on you at the gym because you're fat. I've heard women say this. They're not doing that. If you get out of this self degrading yourself and put yourself in a higher light, you'll understand that people are just people doing their thing. And when you raise your vibration, you attract people, and they will hold the door open for you, where once before they might have smashed it in your face because they didn't mean to. They were in their own thing. And, nobody sets out to be mean.
Well, I think it's also like we have this tendency to take everything so personally. And one of the tools of access that I use a lot is, and I think I've mentioned it a couple of times, is interesting point of view. Interesting point of view, they have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Everything is just an interesting point of view. And it's an interesting point of view based on the projections, expectations, separations, and judgments that each person has. And that doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right.
You know, I mean, who knows what that person was going through in that moment where they slammed the door. You could choose to think, oh, they slammed the door at me because I am, you know, fat or whatever. You could choose to, wow, that was interesting that they did that. I wonder what's going on with them.
Exactly.
You know, so.
But it's so cool to work with people and see their light shine, you know, and go, oh my gosh, I'm really beautiful, you know, and shift that. So that's all. So, Patty, we have to close out. So share your website, and I'm going to share mine.
PoleDancingForConsciousness.com, all about communion with your body and shining your light and being you and changing the world.
That's wonderful. And mine is MiaSaenz.com. That's MiaSaenz.com. Enjoy your week, and I so look forward to being with you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you for being with us. Yay.
Thank you, Patty.